All right, he is now the head basketball coach for the Owls, Kennesaw State, and the Ace Sun. He is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, but forever an Alabama legend, Antoine Pettway. Welcome in, Coach. How are you today?
Man, I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome. I'm ready to get out there to Phoenix.
I bet you are. As a guy that played a team into the Elite Eight, you were on that team. You know how hard it is to make a Final Four. You guys ran into a UConn buzzsaw, obviously, but
Yes.
all the connections you've got. We'll get to your connection with Coach Oates, but just the Alabama blood, native of the state, played at Alabama that runs through your veins. What was Saturday night like for you watching that win over Clemson to punch the ticket?
Oh, I loved it. Me and my family were sitting there watching. My son was jumping up and down like every every basketball player that ever put that Alabama jersey on, every fan that ever came into a game at Coleman Coliseum. This is what you dreamed of. And Coach Oates has been able to lead this program to the Final Four, his first Final Four in history, man. That's tremendous. That's tremendous. I'm telling you, like I feel it. Like it's like everybody that ever played a part in it, like you feel a part of it. You help lay the foundation, and for him to get us there, and for that team to get us there, man, we can't wait to get out there and support. But I know everybody in the state of Alabama is on cloud nine right now, for sure.
Well, I wanted to ask you this because we were talking about the last time we saw Alabama play in one of these big domes coming up in Glendale. You were there. You played in the last couple of SEC tournaments in Atlanta. As a shooter, how difficult is it to go from a smaller arena to one of these big domes?
It's a little adjustment, but I know Coach Oates and that staff, they're gonna get them in some arenas and try to get them reps. But a lot of people ask me about it's just the work that Coach Oates puts in every single day. So he's gonna have those guys in the gym. Everybody asks why they play with so much confidence, why they take those shots they take and they going in. It's the work. He demands those guys be in the gym all day, all night, man, and that breeds confidence. So I don't think they're gonna have a big adjustment because they gonna make shots. They're gonna play the way Alabama plays, and I'm telling you, it's the work, man. He demands that work. He sets the tone from the top down, and it just trickles down through their whole organization. But those guys gonna be confident. They're gonna play Alabama style of basketball.
I know you had a hand in recruiting some of these players and scouting some of the others that end up taking the Alabama offer after you left. Guys like Mark Sears from Ohio. You got a guy from Dodge City, a guy from North Dakota State, and a guy from Hofstra, and that's the starting lineup in the Final Four. What did you look for now at Kennesaw, and what Nate looked for in these mid-major guys, the portal guys that make it all fit together at this level? What's the first thing you notice in a player when you're scouting a guy like Mark Sears?
Well, the skill set, can they dribble, pass, and shoot, and then do they affect winning when their shots not falling? We knew Mark. I've been knowing Mark since we was in the seventh grade, and we got a chance to watch him. I always tell the story. We were playing. I can't remember who we were playing, and then scouts were at our game, and they were actually like, in their route from watching our game. I think someone was flying up to Ohio to check him out. I'm like, you going to Ohio to see Mark Sears? And they were like, yeah, we're going to check him out. He's putting up numbers, and so we got to start looking at his stats. And I think in that MAC he was probably first in scoring and like third in assists as a sophomore. And we started breaking his video down, and that's one thing they do a great job up there as well, man. Like they know who they're getting. Like he studies, like everybody knows he's a numbers guy, but they study, they put the numbers on the paper, and they study these guys frontwards and backwards, man. They study them, and they know exactly who they're getting out the portal. That's why they've had success with like a guy like Grant Nelson, with Mark Sears, with Aaron Estrada. They know exactly how well they're gonna fit into that system. And so we did that with Mark Sears, and man, he came in, and I think winning just was at the forefront. I'll never forget, man, it was a day in practice. We were having a tough practice, and coach asked the guys why did they come, and when he got to Mark, he was like, I came here to get to a Final Four. And it's just see, that hard work come to fruition, man, that's big time. I love it. I'm enjoying every minute of
it. We can tell. Kennesaw State head basketball coach Antoine Pettway, Alabama legend, with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You will find no shortage of people, Coach, in this state today that'll say, I always thought Nate Oates would get Alabama to the Final Four. You were on the previous staff. I don't know how well you knew Coach Oates when he took the job. Can you take me back? I mean, were you one of those guys that you were like, I see a guy now, I want to be part of this because I think he's got Final Four in him?
Yeah, when you do your research, Greg Byrne and everybody that helped hire him did their research. And when you do your research, you know the success he had that came with Coach Oates. I mean, coming from Romulus High School, doing what he did at Buffalo. I mean, he had those dudes getting not only making the tournament, but they were beating people in the tournament, beating team higher seeds. So, You knew the style of play, was going to be an incitement to the fans and get high quality recruits to come play for them. But I'm telling you guys, like, when you get a chance to work with them, I got a unique perspective. I grew up Alabama fan. I got a chance to play there, and I also got a chance to work with those guys and grew to love them. But when you see how hard they work every single day, and it starts from the top down, Nate Oates, he gonna show up and he gonna get to it. Like, he's gonna work and he's gonna get better every single day. He's gonna make everybody in that organization get better. But Adam Bowman, Henry, Clark, Josh Pierce, those guys every single day, man, they're working to get better. And it's a reason we're where we are right now as a program. But he's successful because of his hard work, and he demands that through every single person in that organization. He makes everybody touch better, and that's what you're seeing, man. Those guys, like Marcia's a better player since he got to Alabama. Grant Nelson, better. Aaron Estrada, Rylan Griffin. These dudes keep getting better and better as the season goes on, as the games goes on. Nick Pringle. And I'm telling you, man, don't count us out. Don't count us out. He's gotten us this far, man. Let's keep going.
Well, a key is going to be the big for UConn. And I asked Richard Hendricks, as a former big and an analyst, how you defend Donovan Clingan as a head coach. What do you throw at this guy?
Man, you got to fight his catches pretty much. You got to limit his touches around the rim. UConn do a great job of getting them open, getting them angles to the rim. But I'm going to tell you this, they got to guard us too. They got to guard that system we play, man. And that's going to be, the battle within the battle. Him having to guard, shooting bigs and maybe have to come out on the perimeter, maybe get him in foul trouble early. But that big kid UConn has, he's a handful for sure.
I wanted to ask you about Sears again, because his shots were they were non-existent in the North Carolina game early on, and then non-existent in the second half. They did a great job of limiting Mark's touches. And then they just weren't falling to start with in the Clemson game. But he battled through that. But there was a chance he could have been very, very selfish, kept shooting, and shot Alabama out of the tournament, and he did not. How tough is that to do when you always put up 20 points, to not shoot when the shot's not there, not force something? That's got to be tough to do, Antoine.
Yeah, well, it could be, but I don't think it is for him and the guys that are on that team, because it's about sacrifice. At this point in period, stats don't mean anything to any one of those guys. Like, it's about winning and advancing and surviving. So if you got to go 1 for 10, but get 9 or 10 assists and get a big stop, you got to be willing to do that. And that's what you see. That's what you see from that team. Their whole program's complete buy-in. Like, it's just right now where you are in the Final Four, even when you're in the Elite Eight or the Sweet 16, throw your stats out the window, because you can get 35 and you lose and the season over. The jerseys are in mothballs. You know what I mean? Like, it's about continuing now to survive. And so I think you lose yourself in the game. You hear him tell the team that all the time, lose yourself in the game. And I think that's what our guys are doing, losing themselves in the game. And if the play is the shot, shoot it. If the play is to throw the lob, the Pringle, throw it. But make the right play. And those dudes are getting coached on that now. They're getting coached on that every single day. Make the right play, make the winning play. And I think that's what you're seeing those dudes are doing.
I've got no control over at Alabama, but you'll hang a banner for the Final Four, regardless of what happens Saturday and Monday. They hang Final Four banners at North Carolina and Duke and Kentucky too. So there'll be a banner going up in Coleman Coliseum.
Sure.
Opening game next year. Would it be okay? Let's go Kennesaw State, Alabama opening night for banner night, just so you can be in the arena. Would you sign up for that?
Hey, I don't know, man. We got to talk about that. They're gonna have to pay me a lot of money to bring us in there, but we may talk. We can talk about that. We can talk about it.
They'd pay you a lot of money to come in there. Come on.
But I don't know if I want to be there for banner night. I mean, that place is gonna be rocking for sure when we drop that Final Four banner. So, I don't know if you're gonna be able to talk me into doing that one.
See, the Antoine Pettway I know would have said, you don't want me in there on banner night. You don't want to get upset on banner night.
I think Antoine, he's got more Alabama guys on the roster than Alabama does. So he's recruiting over here.
We got a few.
Yeah, you got to bring them home, Coach. Let them play in front of their home folk there.
I'm going to push it. I'm pushing it all weekend. Banner night, Kennesaw State, Alabama, to open up the season.
Let's do it.
Well, Coach, we wish you all the best at Kennesaw State. I know year one didn't finish the way you wanted it, but you're building there, and we wish you all the best. And a lot of people over here are massive fans of you and want to see you do well there.
Thank you guys so much, man. Appreciate everything. Thanks for having me on.